Hi everyone, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. Do you ever get those feelings? Well, probably not unless you're a content creator. Well, there's just a video that was made for you. And I think this is just the video that was made for me. I'm kind of going old school with this one. I'm dealing with stuff that I haven't dealt with in a long time. Video games, World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy XIV. We're even going to sprinkle some Asmongold on top of that. Now, just to give you a wee bit of a backstory, from about 2012 to 2017/18, my channel was a games channel and predominantly World of Warcraft. And because of that, yes, I did have interactions with people like Asmongold. We've done about three or so podcasts. Not been a huge amount, but we were always very aware of each other in the sphere of World of Warcraft, and we did have some like long podcasts. We spoke for like 3 hours and stuff. I think you had to edit that video down to like an hour and a half because we just kept going off on tangents and speaking about stuff. You know, plenty of stuff we never saw eye to eye on. I was more the cynical guy. I just couldn't see where World of Warcraft was going to improve. I always just, you know, saw the game as just getting licks of paint on top of cracks that just weren't being fixed, and I wasn't seeing new and what's the word I'm looking for? Creative, I guess, content being made. I just saw a same old, just reskin something, rename something, and then plop it back out there and pretend it's new. Zach was more of the positive, believe it or not. He was more of the positive guy when it came to this. He was kind of looking to defend Blizzard in a lot of elements. He'd been playing World of Warcraft since day one, so it meant a whole lot to him growing up, etc. And yeah, I mean, it led to interesting conversations. I can't say any more than that. Now, of course, he's blown up to this Twitch megastar. I think he's the biggest Twitch streamer in the world, potentially, at the moment. Certainly there or thereabouts, if he isn't number one. And it's absolutely crazy, and I've got to say, it's great to see. You know, whether you love the guy or hate the guy, it's absolutely irrelevant, because that's going to be the case with anyone who's top. You know, anyone that's top of the tree, anyone that's streaming, anyone that's out there, there's always people that are going to love them, there's always people that are going to hate them. So that part of the process is immaterial. So good on him. And one thing that I always wanted him to do, which he never did, was try Final Fantasy XIV, and he never made that leap. And I'm sure that's stuff that we discussed like years ago. Just trying something new to see if it would potentially change his mind, or at least sort of open his eyes to a different experience, yada yada yada. Anywho, recently, I think the 4th of July, Asmongold decided to play Final Fantasy XIV for the first time. A lot of WoW players, a lot of WoW streamers have been, I guess the word to use, defecting. Defecting over from World of Warcraft to Final Fantasy XIV. Because, number one, World of Warcraft has, I think, not even had its first patch, or it's just about to get its first patch of the latest expansion. So that's been a ridiculous period of time. Secondly, the actual content in the game is so bland. And again, to me, it's just the same old, same old. It's dungeons, raiding, PvP, world quests. It's just that sort of business. There's nothing intrinsically new or creative out there to be played. So if that's, you know, your bag, great. But if you're looking for something to do in your downtime, if you're looking for some non-combative leisure experiences, none of that exists in the game. It's god-awful. And I deuced out. I'd had enough. I tried to hold on, but it just got to the point where I was like, I'm done. Apathy had set in. I just didn't care about the game anymore. I lost all love for it. And it's still the same. I tried to give the new expansion a go. I lasted about 3 weeks and I was bored off my head. Absolutely bored off my head. Whereas I go on Final Fantasy XIV and I find there's just so much more to do. So many different types of content for you to get involved with. that you can just lose yourself in, absolutely lose yourself in it. So Asmongold goes and gives Final Fantasy XIV a try, and it just, you know, it breaks the internet in terms of streaming. He has 220,000 people watching his stream. He gains, he got 7,000 new subscribers, and he made over 30 grand in donations. Good on him. Good on him. And then he tweeted out, "What a day. Thanks for watching today, guys. One of the most incredible streams I've ever had playing Final Fantasy XIV. I would have never expected. I'll be back tomorrow morning for more." And I think he went from level 1 to level 20. He then tweeted out later, you know, the same. That's what he tweeted out later. So there was a movement, it seemed, to try and get him banned. And who was this by? Well, this was actually by some Final Fantasy XIV players, which really goes against the philosophy of the community in Final Fantasy XIV. Because one of the things that I absolutely adore about the game is the community. You know, you go into WoW and it is so toxic the vast majority of the time, but you go on Final Fantasy XIV and it's just so helpful. It's actually rarer to find an arsehole than it is somebody who would help you. And they have systems in place that sort of give a mentorship to players. So new players to the game can talk to these people who have a symbol so you can see who they are, and they will aid you. They will help you. So the game is actively trying to create a bond, to create a friendly atmosphere. Doesn't always work, and the game's not perfect, don't get me wrong, but it's trying, and it's trying really hard. So we have, first of all, this person on the left who says, "I want to make something very clear. Asmongold's kind of hatred and rudeness is not welcome in Final Fantasy XIV. It is the responsibility of every decent player to overwhelmingly report every single incident of it and make sure he's run off quickly. Do not give him or his fanboys room. This kind of gatekeeping does not belong in Final Fantasy XIV. Who the hell are you? Who the hell are you to decide who gets to play and doesn't play?" Now, sure, Asmongold is very brash and abrasive at times. So what? So what? You're more of an arsehole for putting that tweet out, regardless. Just because somebody's got opinions, just because somebody's got strong opinions, just because somebody doesn't cow down to pathetic peer pressures by pathetic groups on social media, doesn't make them a rude or a person that's full of hatred. It just means they're not a sap. On top of this, a Blizzard lead product manager, data at Blizzard Entertainment, decided to tweet out to that person, reply to that person, that Asmongold, that guy, is an asshole. Now, yeah, Asmongold's been very critical of Blizzard, and I think rightfully so. I think the game hasn't been the same for a long, long time now. I would personally argue since Wrath of the Lich King was the last good expansion, and then since then, Mr. Pandaria, it's looked at with rose-tinted specs, but it was very dull when you were playing it for a long time. A lot of grind, a lot of waiting for content, a lot of content in the first year, no content in 14 months afterwards. Warlords of Draenor was an absolute joke of an expansion. Legion, it was better, but it was more of a lick of pain expansion. But Battle for Azeroth was again another absolute joke, and Shadowlands, Shadowlands has just been, well, dull as dishwater, and it's just all over the place. So anywho, what happens? What happens when brave people, a community manager at Blizzard, calls Asmongold an asshole? What did he think was going to happen? What did he think was going to happen? Did he think he was going to be showered with praise and love? Bearing in mind that this guy just got 220,000 people watching his Final Fantasy XIV stream. And bear in mind, you want to call Asmongold an asshole, fine. The guy's got thick skin. I don't think he gives two shits. But at the same time, Asmongold has done more for World of Warcraft than any Blizzard developer has in about 10 fucking years. And it's him, people like him, but predominantly him, who's been streaming the game and trying to be positive and trying to keep people on it, even if he is being critical of the game itself, that's probably kept thousands. I've just got a big cardboard mountain falling down on top of me. Thousands of people still playing World of Warcraft. If it wasn't for people like him, if let's say Asmongold deuced out of World of Warcraft 4 years ago, at the beginning of Battle for Azeroth, I guarantee the game would have a lot less players than it does now. Guarantee it. And if you look, you know, once the sort of word got around about Final Fantasy XIV and people giving it a try, what do we see? A lot of World of Warcraft Twitch streamers start defecting over and streaming it. So anyway, Adam Helinsky ended up privating his account, and just as all good cowards do, has a good cry now. Look, here he's got lead product manager, data. Now it's been changed to threats of violence are pretty lame. Maybe I'll reopen my account one day. Views expressed are my own. No, they're not. No, they're not. They're not your own. This is your business account. This is your blue check mark. I'm the lead product manager, data at Blizzard Entertainment account. You want to create a completely separate account called Adam H. Surfer and do what you want on there? That's what it's your prerogative, but again, you'll still get clapped back regardless of your personal opinions. But no, you put all this bollocks in here to get your blue check mark because you think it's important in life and it's fucking nothing. And then you have a big nice cry at the end of it. Want to follow me? Hit me up elsewhere. Here are my pronouns because I'm a fucking soy boy. So he has a good cry, locks up his account, and then, just to add injury to insult to all the haters, Square Enix start banning people who were trying to interfere with Asmongold's play. Because a lot of people were trying to block NPCs so he couldn't speak to them. They were trying to follow him around, reporting him for doing I don't know what, trying to get him banned. And Square responded in kind by actually banning these people. Now, some people said this was a double standard. It's not a double standard at all. If people are breaking terms of service and you're reported for doing so, that's what you're going to get. Terms and service aren't there for you to pick and choose or say, hey, well, I've been a Final Fantasy XIV player for 6 years now, so that should allow me certain rights. No. If you are actively involved in activities which will breach terms of service, you are liable for those punishments that come alongside it. So they got what they deserved. And from a perspective of Square Enix, this is a guy that can bring a lot of people to the game. And I bet you Asmongold streaming brought a ton of people to Final Fantasy XIV that created either accounts immediately or they created... because you can play the game for free up to level 60. You know, so just to trial the game out to see what they think. Now, Asmongold might not stay. You know, he might say, hey, this has been fun for a while, but it's not for me. And fair play, at least he's given it a go. But the fact that a Blizzard developer would hit out at Asmongold going to a different game because your game's shit and has been shit for a long time because there's no creativity at Blizzard anymore. And I think that's quite apparent. Whereas there's a game where people absolutely adore the lead designer, Yoshi P, because he not only does he play the game, love the game, he is so invested in the game, and you see his passion through and through. Particularly at fan fests. Blizzard? Fucking hell. I have seen a flicker of passion from Ian Hazakostas. Ian hasn't got a clue. Not a flicker. Okay, so there we go. Asmongold destroys Blizzard. Has one of their product managers privating their account for slagging him off. You get what you fucking deserve. And then people who are attempting to get him banned find themselves on the end of a ban for calling for this. Ah, what a day. Hope you enjoyed the vid and the cardboard mountain falling down. If you did, please do give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media and YouTube for live streaming. Links are in the description box down below. I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care. Bye for now.